Yeah, so we had a few challenges. Initially, if you look at the course that we're teaching, this was implemented and still is implemented over dual mode, which means we're teaching on campus and online students. So first of all, you have a different size cohort. You have students coming to class, so they actually see each other face to face, and you have an online cohort where they don't see each other. So there's these kind of challenges. We also had challenges in terms of time. So we, at the time when we were implementing this strategy, we were allowed 3 hours on campus, face-to-face contact time with students, but only 1 hour online. So how do you develop a similar experience or a similar opportunity for learning when it comes to reflection when you have these design challenges? On top of that, when we first implemented this, we actually realized that students don't know how to reflect deeply or critically. So we had to go back and teach them the process of reflection. But in teaching them the process of reflection, we also had the challenge that the rubrics were not, the existing rubrics that I've looked at are very basic. So we had to go back and actually develop comprehensive rubrics that matched, in our case, Moon's 6 steps of reflection. So we developed a manual with a rubric. So the manual, the rubric, and the process of reflection all tie in together. If you're going to use reflection in your course, some ideas or some tips would be, if you choose to use reflection, choose the reflection that is appropriate, or the reflection activity that is appropriate to the larger context of the course, and potentially even builds on the other assessment activities or the other learning activities that they do. But if you're going to use reflection, I feel that it should get scaffolded at least twice. Once at the start, once at the end. Ideally have to have one in the middle. You need to give students formative feedback, because students need to know, how am I going? Am I actually learning to reflect deeply? Again, if you can scaffold reflection, why not then go that extra mile to scaffold the questions within each reflection? So if reflection 2 scaffolds on the questions in reflection 1, it's an opportunity for students to reflect on their reflection, which again further deepens that ability to reflect critically and deeply. Test if the students know how to reflect deeply. If not, you'll have to go and teach them the process of reflection. But by teaching a person a process of reflection, either if you have the resources to do it yourself, fine. In our case, we didn't, so we had to develop resources to give to the students to make them, to some extent, self-sufficient in that. And the other thing is to provide them opportunities to practice. Reflection is, it's not like a mathematical formula. It takes time to evolve and develop. So we actually offered students opportunities in collaborate sessions to go through very specifically designed, wasn't really an exercise, it was more like a session where we presented a series of scaffolded reflection exercises to help them to practice the process without them realizing that they're doing that. And then at the end of the session, we said to them, what you've just done is the 6 steps of reflection. See, it's not as hard as what you think, basically. And then also consider the possibility to offer students an opportunity to self-assess and peer assess, because those 2 concepts in themselves deepen reflection as well.